thought you said it was clear.
I said it looks clear.
Well, how's it look now?
Looks clear. Congratulations to Babette Shaw, who guessed the right quote for the movie, which was Harry Potter. And can you guess the one that we have just done at the beginning of this review? Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben.
And I'm Kay. Hi.
And this is our review for Netflix's original series, Season 3, 13 Reasons Why. So this is actually the third time I'm recording this, because the first time I recorded this, I did a review that was so rubbish, just because I found the subject matter really hard to talk about. It was a big season, a lot happened, and I didn't want to give plots away, so I've now gotten my beautiful wife here with me to kind of help me talk about it. She will prod me. She hasn't seen the whole thing. She's seen some of it. She's seen, I think, all of the first season, some of the second season, and you've seen some of what I've been reviewing today. Mm-hmm. She's just going to prod me. She's just here to kind of guide me.
Help you make sense.
Yes, because I often don't make sense. So here we go.
May I have your attention, please?
But this season is basically about the death of Bryce Walker. The whole season is featured around that. There are, of course, many other storylines and teenage angst storylines that go on in amongst that. So it's very similar to the first season and the second season. Exactly how they did the story and how they built their world is exactly how it happens here within Season 1 and Season 2. There are 13 episodes. They're all about an hour long. It does feel quite lengthy. I do feel like they could have shaved off probably 3 episodes. It probably would have been a better series, probably better paced in kind of quickness and storyline of what they wanted to get across, rather than dragging certain elements of the themes out. That's not to say it isn't good. Again, there are themes within this series that are very dark in tone, and you probably will, if you binge the whole lot, you'll probably come out feeling quite wah. At the beginning of this season, Netflix have again put out a statement saying if you are suffering with certain things that they have themes in, so depression, or you are a person that is maybe affected quite easily by the themes that what the subject matter they cover, then maybe this isn't for you. At the same time, they don't shy away from what they're trying to say, and I think that's good. They know what the story they want to tell, and they're telling that.
Bryce Walker was found and has been confirmed dead.
So things I liked in this season, I think the interactions with some of the characters where I could relate, because it's not my demographic, it is seniors. So it's probably 16, 17, 18 is the demographic. I guess in America and the UK would be similar around the world. Where I relate is the relationships between the parents. So there are the relationship deep moments that I felt that I could relate to on screen between mother and son, between Bryce and his mother. There was a moment there I was talking to you about where there was a yoga scene, and it's the first time I've really felt the other side of Bryce's character. You know what he's done wrong. You know he's a flawed character, and now you're seeing that his character understands that as well. So he breaks down, and there's this real kind of heartfelt moment interaction where you see him as a human rather than a monster. And I think it was very good of them to show that other side of the monster. And then you get the same with the father and son characters, and so I really related to the relationships with the parents and their children, and I think that they did well in getting that across. At the same time, there is like a juxtaposition of where the teenagers are almost dealing with everything themselves, which I think you've had an issue with before as well. Did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I think what we were saying just now in the car was like, it feels like a bunch of adults have written a TV show about a bunch of teenagers. And so the themes and the issues and everything that they're dealing with it in rather an adult way, in that they don't go to their parents for help.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe we're just an anomaly, but we've tried to create and develop relationships with our own kids where we believe that they could come to us for anything and tell us anything, and that we would be one of the first people that they would turn to if, you know, they were dealing with some of this incredibly difficult and heavy and dark and awful stuff that gets dealt with in this TV series.
I remember my father saying to me when he used to watch Dawson's Creek how the scripting for the young teenagers made out that the teenagers were so much more intelligent than the adults. And I'm not sure that is correct. And here that seems to be the case as well. The parents are always in the after fact. They're dealing with the mess that happens, but they never seem to be aware of what's going on. That's kind of my only real issue with the series as a whole, is that I feel like the parents or the adult figures could have worked out things quicker. There are intelligent characters for the parents. I'm not saying they aren't, but it's just something that kind of, as Sue sees it, would grind my gears. The acting, the cinematography, the story making, all of that is great. There wasn't anything that I thought was a weak link. I don't think there's anything that breaks the boundaries in filmmaking techniques, but it's all solid. There were times that I noticed the score and the soundtrack. I know sometimes if you notice it, you're like, well, maybe that you shouldn't notice it, but I thought it played a character as well as like with all the other characters. You got those characters but the music became a character, and I thought that was quite good. It kind of often moves you on into the next scene, which it helps carries a particular scene, especially when something is probably slower than it has right to be. They could have cut a few things. I can't remember if they did this for season 1 or 2. It's been a while since I've seen those. I don't remember it being a thing, but maybe it is. You can correct me in the comments. I'm sure you will. But there's this aspect ratio change between the past and the present, or the present future. Weird. Where in the present or future, depending on how you see it, there are cinematic bars at the top and bottom of your screen, and the color is all seeped out. And then in the past, it's all the bars are gone and it's all full of color. And it was a weird thing. It's definitely something that directors and the editors have chosen to do. It's on purpose. So they're saying the past is like, oh, colorful, and this is what was happening. Although the juxtaposition of that's where all the nastiness happened.
Yeah.
And then in the future, it's saying that your future's devoid of color and more, I don't know, the aspect ratios change. It left me feeling a bit weird. I would have probably had it opposite.
Yeah.
Seeped and dark bars, and then in the present full in color, because you could probably hope for the future. And this is where I think I will say I'm not sure that this season needed to be made. I'm not sure season 2 needed to be made. I think the season 1 was unique and interesting. I love the idea of the tape. You got to find out what happened to the protagonist in season 1 with the tapes. And you see who had a role in her suicide. But here, it just feels like they're continuing the storyline that with all these themes that have been worked on and touched on already. So you have pregnancy, you have self-harm, you have depression, you have all the great things. There's so many themes that it touches on, but I feel like they haven't spoken about anything new.
Yeah.
So although we're dealing with the murder, you're dealing with these themes, I feel like that's been done before. I was wondering what new aspect that we're going to bring to this storyline when season 1 was so fresh. I don't feel like there's anything fresh. So there's nothing wrong with this season. It's well acted, it's well produced, it's well directed. The themes they tackle, they do it justice. I don't think they're glorifying anything. I think they've done it in the right way, especially with the mentions of at the beginning of each episode. If you suffer from any of this and you need help, here is somewhere where you can get it. I also think that's Netflix that's Netflix covering their own ass, which I guess is a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to see another season from this. I've done my due diligence. It's not for my demographic. If they do a season 4, which looks like they are going to, because although this story is wrapped up, there is a thing that they do that they are kind of teasing you with that could be another season, which I think I kind of sighed and went, really? Just kind of leave it alone.
Stop.
You had something original and unique, and now you've kind of dragged it out for season 2 and 3. That's not to say I didn't like moments. There were some really great moments in acting, and I think had they kind of cut down the fat, I guess you're trimming it down, you would have got to the gold nuggets of each episode. And I really feel like it would have been a much sharper, much concise storyline. You would have gotten to those themes that they were trying to tell, the story that they were trying to do much quicker. It would have felt better. This series is highly controversial. Even recently, Netflix had to remove a scene from season 2, I believe, the rape scene, because everything, like, because everybody was up in arms, and so they had to do that, and so now they're being more careful than ever. But there's this thing to do with, if you show something, does it breed more of that?
Yeah, I mean, statistically, in schools, for example, when there is a suicide, that there is a much higher probability that another student at the school or associated with the school will also attempt suicide, because it's like it plants a seed. And maybe gaining that recognition, maybe depending on the situation. I don't know if I'm making this clear or not. I don't actually want to tread on anyone's toes. It just feels like, be careful, Netflix. You know, have you done the research? Have you really checked statistically that you're not adding fuel to these things? And I get that we need to be having these conversations. We absolutely do. You know, these are all taboo subjects, and if we as parents, if we as a society were more open to just talking about these things more frequently, maybe they wouldn't be the way they are. I don't
Maybe.
know.
I mean, I think Netflix have tried. There's even like the after show thing that they do, kind of a breakdown, and they talk about where you can get help more, and they talk about how real it is. But you never know whether that's just them trying to safeguard themselves, or if this is a real thing that they care about. I like to think, because there are people that they do. They're not just a business, that they care about their products and the message they're trying to portray.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is just a made up story. These are real themes.
Yeah.
And this does happen, and they're portraying things that happen in today's society now with our kids. Now, unfortunately, that's something that our kids have to deal with. But it is also a story. And it is embellished somewhat.
Yeah.
So I know some of these things happen, but they kind of chuck in everything together, as you do kind of soaps, because the drama makes it entertaining to what. I'm going to give this a B-. It's a tough one to review, because when you review it, you've got to review it as the program it is. But you've also got to take into consideration the effect that something has. And to say that it doesn't have any effect, I think, is a laughable offense.
Naive.
Yeah, it is naive. Thank you so much for watching this review. If you like my content, please like it and share it. Comment down below what you thought about this season. Did they need season 2 and 3? If you like this content, we have more in our subscription zone, where we do kind of behind the scenes, the stuff that doesn't make it into the videos, where I make loads of mistakes, and a couple of short films, and we've got more coming on there. So if you like our content and want to support us, then check that out and let me know what else we can do there. But most of all, until next time, remember,
Live long and Tuesday.